Let's call the meeting to order at 7 on the dot. Okay, so we're going to start with the consent agenda items. They contain minutes from the May 19th school board meeting, certified and co-curricular staffing recommendations, administrator, supervisor, and director compensation. Does anyone want to pull any of those out for individual discussion? No? Okay. All right, then I would look for a motion.
I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Oh, we got to get our things lined up. Okay. So Chipman and Huey, right? Am I pronouncing that right?
You got it.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. And then there are personnel items where a vote is not necessary. And then we have not received any public comments previous. Are there any registered tonight? No? Okay. Okay, then we are cruising through and we're going to the McFarland Student High School report and we have in person
Wow.
and online.
IRL. as
Come
they
join
say.
us.
This is a treat.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought treats. They brought
Yes, they
treats.
did.
Thank you.
I mean, we're not starting their time.
You guys are great. You're doing awesome.
That's great.
All right.
Okay, so this is the last McFarland High School student report for 2024-2025 school year.
Oh my God.
Right. So what's going on at MHS?
Okay. So on May 30th, the seniors paraded around McFarland Primary School, Wabisa Intermediate School, IMMS, and MHS, showing off their caps and gowns. And it was really cute, and it looked like a fun way to remember how far they've gone to get to graduate. And then the picture, it's a really blurry picture.
That's our girl Ava.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you realize what an impact that has on those young kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the little
That
parade.
is a big deal.
It is.
I love seeing the pictures.
I know.
Henry's in first grade and he came home to talk about it, so it made a big
Aw.
impression.
Yeah, and a lot of like those seniors are like older sisters, babysitters, older brothers, and it's just like, you know, they're just starting their school career and they're just ending it. So it's something really impactful.
I love that tradition.
English 11 read to MPS students. Last week, a bunch of English 11 juniors, they created their own books as a project, their own children's books, and they went to actually go read to them, and it was really sweet. And one of our friends actually was involved in that, and she said even though she felt nervous, it was such a really nice experience. So, yeah.
Okay. And then WIAA Scholar Athletes. So congrats to Isaac Ewing and Julia Ackley for being recognized by MHS head coaches as our local WIAA Scholar Athletes. And best of luck to both Isaac and Julia as they continue their academic and athletic careers at UW La Crosse and Minnesota State Mankato.
Should we do okay. So last Friday, MHS hosted the WIAA sectional track meet, which made our school day a lot shorter.
Bonus.
Yes, it was great. But yeah, so listed below we have the qualified YWAA state track and field meet on that will be Friday, June 6th and Saturday, June 7th. For girls, Julia Ackley on hurdles, pole vault, Rachel Keel, high jump and long jump, Kayla Landerdude, shot put and discus, Karen Wells, Ada Geiger, Layla Peterson, and Rachel Stoilerov. And for boys, we have Spencer Alf doing the 4x8, 800 and 1600 mile run. Meter, I don't know. Isaac Ewing with 4x8 and 3200. Henry Piek, 4x8, 3200. Blake Doolin, 4x8. Lucas Grossman, 4x8, and Charlie Lycos, 4x8. So yeah, these guys really got it far.
It's a lot.
It's a big deal to have a full bus
Yeah.
go
Mhm.
to a state tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of participants, and many of them in multiple events.
Mhm.
And then some other sports, and a little thank you to Miss Wack, who compiled this information in this week's Spartan Scoop, and we just copied it over. And then softball had a really good WIA regional game versus Broadhead Judah on Tuesday, but came up a little bit short by 1 run. Congratulations to all the coaches and players for a really nice season. Girls lacrosse had a forfeit in the first round of the WIA tournament, so they won by default. And then they will play Verona on Tuesday, June 3rd at Oregon. Boys lacrosse had a tough loss in the WIA tournament to Hudson on Thursday, and congrats to the coaches and players for a good season. Baseball had 2 tough losses to Monona Grove and Oregon this week, and they will host Lodi in a regional game on Tuesday, June 3rd. Girls soccer tied Lake Mills on Tuesday and had a nice win over Sun Prairie West on Thursday. They'll hold Deerfield Cambridge on Thursday for a WIAA regional game. Boys golf finished 6th overall at the WIAA regional meet, and congrats to Addison Pennekamp and Rowan Lehner for advancing onto the WIAA sectional on Tuesday in Oregon. Boys tennis had competitive matches this week at the WIAA sub-sectional on Tuesday. And congratulations to Kevin Chen for advancing on to the WIAA sectional on Thursday.
Coming up, what will be going on at MHS? So Senior Sunset, the class of 2025, will be celebrating their last year coming to a close on June 4th. This is a new tradition, and it will be hosted 7 to 9 p.m. at Senior Sunset Celebration on the MHS parking lot. Then at the stadium where they'll have a cookout. So that's really nice.
Graduation! Class of 2025 will have a commencement ceremony at 11 a.m. on June 8th in the A Gym. And congratulations, graduates, especially the Connect president, Ava Vincent.
Summer break officially begins at 3:35 on June 5th. So get hyped.
Student
And-
staff updates.
Thank
Wait.
you. Thank you so much for these meetings and letting us share these experiences with you, especially from inside of our community and outside. So this is just a really, this has been a really great thing, and we just wanted to say thank you for having us here.
Well, thank you for putting this
Yeah, of course.
on, making these presentations.
Yep, absolutely.
And then one more, thank you for a great year. And does anyone have questions?
Ooh, actually,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm pretty sure you guys know Connect won't be happening next year. But me and Evie are both in student council, and all of these things will be passed on to student council, and we have talked to Miss Bazan about it, and she has been telling us, we told her that we know how to do this, so maybe we'll be able to keep doing this next year, but as student council.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's great.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, well, thank you all for coming. I mean, this is actually a benefit to us, so that we know more about what's going on in the schools and hear from students directly, and that's really important, so, thank you.
Of course, thank
Have a
you
great
guys.
summer. ladies.
Yeah.
You guys as well. We have your cheats here for.
Thank you.
But I'm not letting them have them before.
You don't need us to get
That's
too
right.
much more excited.
It's true.
During
Bouncing
the
off
true.
board meeting.
boardroom
No one
walls.
wants to see
That's
you
right.
eating on camera.
It's true, it'd be really bad.
Great
Yeah.
job, ladies.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for your leadership.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You guys have a lovely day.
You too.
You too.
Have a wonderful summer.
You too.
Good luck in lacrosse.
She's so polite.
Aw. All right. Well, it's gonna be hard to follow that, Mr. Tarnitzer. But now it's your turn, the district administrator's report.
Nothing's going on, so. Yeah, next. Yes, so lots of great things to share. I think what I'll do, just to switch it up, I'm feeling like, doing something a little different, is share the pictures first.
Yeah, that's
Do
nice.
you like that? All right, so, have some photos from around here to share with you. You can see it's a field trip out to the Aldo Leopold Center. We try to take advantage of the short little time that we have great weather because of the agrarian calendar that drives our schools. And so this is a time when they get to go out and get to go on a fun field trip together and explore nature together. Such a great resource so close to us.
Yes.
Here you have a little bit of artists doing some, art materials, doing some work together. I think our art program continues to just impress, and MPS is no exception. Great things there if you ever get a chance to see it in person. And they do such a really nice job displaying all the student artwork throughout the school as well. Continuing on the theme, Take a Brat to Work Day, a great tradition across the district. This happens to be at MPS. I know that they also do that here at the high school as well. So great tradition, having fun with that. Look at their baseball mitts there that they made, so a little more creativity among our students.
Oh, they're sliding mitts.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually do
Yeah.
use those.
Yeah.
So
when
they,
they're on base. They're just like a mitten.
For,
Oh.
for
and so
sliding.
you okay.
So you don't catch your
like,
finger.
scratch up your hand or whatever?
Well, catch your finger.
Oh,
Fingers into the
Oh.
shows you
Yeah.
how much I know
Dislocate
about
'em.
sliding and
Or
baseball.
also probably road
Yeah.
rash,
Right?
right?
I'm so fast I never needed to slide, but
No throw.
some people
No
do.
throw necessary.
Yeah.
You did demonstrate that in the race with MPS
I
2 years
did.
ago?
I
In
did.
an inflatable costume, no less.
I did. Apparently, I was the only one that was taking it seriously. Anyway, all right. So here we are at Wabisa again with a little sharing some of our work. So they wrote some articles there in the 5th grade at Wabisa. So kind of a neat thing. I love it when they have those authors workshops. So very exciting to do there. So thank you, writers. And then we had an author visit. A lot of work goes into coordinating those author visits, but what a profound impact that has. And kids see themselves like, oh, like I could be a writer. I could publish a book. And so we had a children's author come and present. You see, that is the entire 6th grade class right there in the
Wow.
collaboration space, listening to a couple stories from an author. The staff versus student basketball game, 8th grade students versus the staff, and once again, the staff win.
I think there's a couple of ringers in there that tell you the truth.
Yes, there are, we definitely have
And I definitely think you have a height advantage.
a height advantage. That's what I was
Yes.
just gonna say, significantly. When you can see that Caleb and Officer Zietzma don't look all that tall, you know you have a height advantage because they
That's
are
true.
giants.
Good point.
Here we have the employee, Student Employee Excellence Award. Sarai won that at the last celebration, so just a great tradition that's been added this year, and to celebrate her work with LSM Chiropractic, so. Neat way to honor that, gave that at lunch in front of everyone. Of course, we recognized this just a moment ago, so congratulations to them, quite a big honor. Here we have the musician studio performed at Grace Coffee. Grace has been a really good partner with some of our music program, this being a great example. So it's a project-based music class, so they, create music, and we're having a chance to share that.
That young man is
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
talented.
he is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And here we have the senior interviews, so thank you to those of you that did participate in them. Really appreciate that. I think it's a really valuable thing for our community, and we learned so much from those interviews and use that information. So just really, it's a great tradition, but more importantly, it makes us better.
Are those
It's really-
voluntary?
No.
No, they have to do them.
Yeah,
They're mandatory?
yeah,
They are mandatory. They get to do them, yes.
they do.
I like the glows and grows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
cute
it's
little
kind of a cute
slogan.
little,
I know. I loved hearing the, well, there was, all of the folks that I interviewed with were really thoughtful. Like it really shows what adults they're becoming. And then some of their staff shout outs, because that's like a bonus question.
Yeah.
Were so sweet.
I was actually
So-
really impressed with their transparency. And
Yes.
Some of the stuff they said, I was like, how old are you?
They're always,
Yeah.
they have always
Yes.
proven to be that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just, depending upon who you get, that could be quite a
Yeah.
ride.
Yeah, they don't hold back.
No.
No,
No.
No, but they do it in a classy way.
Yeah.
I mean, that-
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there was nothing,
Vindictiveness.
no, I was really impressed.
I think they see it as an opportunity, right?
Yeah,
It's not like,
exactly.
oh, I gotta check this box.
Right, and you'd think there could be some of that, but there isn't.
Plus, there were snacks.
There were
How long have we
snacks.
done those?
Never hurts to get some.
Oh, gosh, a
Ooh.
long time.
Yeah.
I'd say like 20
Yeah, I
years.
think as long as we've been here, yeah.
Years anyway.
Yeah.
I think they were optional for a few years,
They were.
like around COVID-ish
For sure.
times, right?
They've taken various forms.
And I don't know if you have a slide on this about the resume reviews that they did too?
I don't.
Yeah, so they did resume reviews at the same time, so people could bring their resumes and
Yeah.
have them
That's new.
gone through.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Some of their resumes blew me away.
Yeah,
Like, I looked at them like, can you email me this so I can use it for formatting?
yeah, nice
You always
template.
get that.
Right?
The rare ones,
Yeah.
bad ones,
Yeah.
Yeah, those are, yeah, it was a great addition.
because there are some.
All right, in the transition program, doing a little dance lesson with Ms. Jamer, getting to some dance tips there. So that was fun. There is actually another photo that's not included here, but that, I think that's to save face. The Top Scholars program, so the Badger Conference has this sort of the top 10, if you will, at Wanakee, host that, and just a wonderful event that's actually been quite a while. How long, one, was that a month ago?
Oh,
True.
Yeah, and then afterwards, there's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, there was.
A lot of sugar.
o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah, it was on a Sunday, right? If you,
Yeah,
About
so
a
there was
month
a little
ago?
time to work off the sugar.
yeah, it was very nice, wonderful event. Congratulations to them. And then, of course, you
John.
saw honoring 50-plus years of coaching for John Feldner. Quite a legacy, and some great pictures and a great honor. He was very humbled.
I think John started here a year or two after I got
It would have been.
Oh, wow,
Wow.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think that's that for that. Other recognitions, I wanted to thank the McFarland Education Foundation for scholarship night. I think 76 scholarships, over $70,000 given to our seniors, and a wonderfully organized event, so thank you to them.
They do a really great job of
They do.
keeping that under control.
Yeah, that was a great event, and they made some changes this year that I think made it a much more
Yeah.
engaging event and able to connect. The big thing is they wanted to have an opportunity to connect donors with recipients afterwards.
Yeah, that was a really great idea.
Yeah, very thoughtful, good people volunteering their time, right? Thanks to the music department, this is concert season, so you have orchestra and band at various levels happening, and just really impressive. And it's always fun for me to see the growth in the students over the course of the year. You have the fall concerts compared to the spring concerts. So they're, especially in sixth grade, very different sixth grade band concert. So thanks for that. Wanted to give a shout out for the Wabisa Olympiad, was held on Friday. It's a huge event, and very exciting, and just a great way to culminate the year. So thanks for that and all the volunteers. And of course, congratulations, as we mentioned, to all of our spring athletic teams for their competition, many of which are continuing to go on. Couple of updates I wanted to share. 1% increase over the last 2 years in health office visits. The other thing to note is they do a lot of other things. So there's vision and hearing screenings, medication administration. The dental visits, we work with a third party, Bridging Brighter Smiles. It comes in and does cleanings. There were 209 of those, by the way. Trainings, communicable diseases. Our largest this year was influenza, A and B, and strep throat. Those were our largest communicable diseases. So just wanted to thank them for their work. It's obviously done behind the scenes and in private for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. But to think that over 21,000 times someone came in and asked for assistance, that's amazing.
Wow.
Also wanted to give a shout out for the continued success and value of Bonnie's Book Club. So Bonnie Frisch was a reading specialist here in the district and was focused on getting those books in kids' hands. And she passed away after battling cancer, and the donations continue to fund getting books in kids' hands. So I think it's over 10 years now that MPS has been giving books to students to help address the summer slide for reading. So just thanks to everyone involved in that, making sure those books get in their hands. And then coming up, we have, of course, it's Pride Month. The flags were raised today, and so you should see those throughout each of the buildings in the district.
For the village.
The village. Yep.
Yep.
And then this week is obviously a pretty busy week. So tomorrow night, you're back here evaluating me for my formative, so mid-year evaluation. And then we have the 8th grade recognition ceremony and dance on Wednesday, followed by senior sunset, or about the same time as senior sunset. The last day of school for students is Thursday. Friday morning is the staff retirement and recognition celebration, so love to have you there, 8 o'clock in the PAC. It's going to be a fairly short one. We should be done 8:30, 8:45.
Friday, you say?
Yes.
Yep, Friday morning. That's also Hunger Awareness Day. The Wisconsin Virtual Academies of Graduations are that day as well. Starts with Insight at 1 o'clock, followed by Destinations Career Academy at 2:30, and Wisconsin Virtual Academy High School at 6 o'clock. And then, of course, we have our graduation here in the brick and mortar on Sunday at 11. The 14th is Robert LaFollette Senior Day, and we are back here on the 16th for our regular school board meeting. So those are the things I had to share. Any recognitions that the board members would like to share?
You stole the ones I was gonna do.
Exactly. I was gonna talk about exit interviews, so.
Oh, yeah.
I may tack one on specifically for Heather at MPS for the annual health services report. A personal story. So Henry lost his tooth at school, and it's an exciting event. And the team, it just shows how thoughtful they are. There was like a little treasure box they put the tooth in, and that is such a meaningful thing. And the attention to detail is not lost. So thank you for the extra effort it takes to care for the little ones in crisis when they lose another front tooth. So thank you.
Nice. Well said.
All right, I think that takes us into our action items. The first one that we have on the agenda is action on the appointment of the 2025-2026 medical advisor. So per policy, annually, the district will arrange for a qualified individual to serve as the medical advisor. Dr. Livingston, just for background information, Dr. Livingston served in the role from 2000 to 2017, and then Dr. Merwin has served in his role since 2017. So then at this time, that's administration, assume, recommend the appointment of Thomas Merwin, MD, for the 2025-26 school year. I would look for a motion to.
I will make that. I move to approve the appointment of Thomas Merwin, MD, as the district medical advisor for the 2025-26 school year as recommended by administration.
I'll second.
All right, Fisher and Howard. Any discussion on that?
We're very lucky.
Yeah, you've been amazing in
Yeah.
the role, and he's been through a couple of bumps, peaks, and valleys.
Yeah,
On
so
the
from the
pandemic.
sounds of it, we used him a lot during COVID.
Right.
And then we don't have a lot of need, like ongoing issues.
Knock on wood.
Right, knock on wood, that we consult him for, but he's still serving for us, so.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries 5-0. I'm gonna remember that I have to vote. I am. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Dramatic.
Only a second off that time.
I know, I'm getting there. Okay, next, we have the action on the first reading of a long list of policies, and I will read them. I won't put that in any of you this
In
time.
their entirety, no, I'm just kidding.
Yes, right. Well, I mean, yeah, not the whole policy, just the name. Okay, so we are doing the first reading of 4124, Letter of Reasonable Assurance, 6231, Budget Implementation, 6235, Fund Balance, 6620, Petty Cash, 7410, Maintenance, 7430, Safety Standards, 7440, Facility Security, 7440.02, Smart Monitoring Equipment, 7540.03, Student Technology Acceptable Use and Safety, 7540.04, Staff Technology Acceptable Use and Safety, 7540.07, District-Issued Student Email Account, 8120, Volunteers, 8125, Consultants, 8395, Student Mental Health Services, 8531, Free and Reduced Price Meals, 8600, Transportation, 6110, Federal Funds, 6325, Procurement, Federal Grants and Funds, 7310, Disposition of Personal Property, 7450, Property Inventory, 8510, Wellness. My hope is in reading that whoever makes the motion doesn't have to.
Otherwise, I can do it, and I'll do it super, super quick.
Well, we're gonna
I did do it
go.
fast.
I did it fast last time, so.
I would look for a motion on that.
I move to approve the first reading of the following policies as recommended by administration. Do I need to list them all off?
As included in the agenda.
As included in the agenda.
Oh, that's good.
Much quicker.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
I'll second.
All right, Huey. All right, so for discussion, we typically go through one by one and just discuss if anyone has anything on each policy. And I'm gonna be real human and totally left my notes at home. So I've got them here, so we'll go through them. And if there are any issues that we don't discuss, I'll bring them up in the second reading. All right, so we'll just start right at the top here. Policy 4124. Any issues there? Okay. Policy 6231, budget implementation. Okay. Policy 6235, fund balance. Anything there? Okay. Policy 6620, available cash funds. The one question, I had question here, how much do we typically keep on hand for petty cash? I was just curious.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's very small
Mm-hmm.
amounts. I can find out.
You don't have to, I mean, you don't have to find out right now. I was more curious, like, are there 10 different, you know, because they go out to to clubs and for
Mhm.
concessions and things like that, so.
There's just so much is cashless now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. So it's probably smaller than it used to be.
It's very limited. And if we do, this is Jeff, sorry.
Hi, Jeff.
So the petty cash funds are, one, very restricted to the fact that they are not kept in buildings. We do make available cash boxes when necessary, and all departments that do have cash have safes that are locked. So like athletics has a safe, food service has a safe, we have a safe in the district office. We're also insured to certain dollar amounts for our insurance policies as well. So very minimal, very controlled.
Cool. Thank you. All right, anything else on that one? Okay. 7410, maintenance. Okay. 7430, safety standards. All right. 7440, facility security. And I always just like to note that many of these have been reviewed recently, especially these later ones, almost within the last year. So these are just kind of technical updates sometimes. All right. Sorry, scrolling to the next one. All right, 7440.02, smart monitoring equipment.
I did have a question on this one.
Yeah.
On, I think it's the second paragraph from the bottom.
On the first page?
Yes, on the first
Okay.
page. Second paragraph from the bottom, first page.
Nice job working, looking,
Really trying, guys.
yep. good job.
When it says administrative guidelines, is there a possibility of understanding what those administrative guidelines are that it's referring to?
Yes, so administrative guidelines are something that we use internally. It's
Okay.
not a board approved. That is sort of the procedures on how we carry out policies.
Okay.
Now, we have very few administrative guidelines in our district. It's something I'm actually going to be reviewing towards the end of June with our Neola representative, because we haven't kept them as up to date as they need to be.
Okay.
So it references an administrative guideline. I'm 99.9% sure we do not have an administrative guideline for that policy. So it's more like practically, here's what we do behind the scenes, but it doesn't require board action. So more like procedures, I guess.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A good question, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep,
I should have
that's
taught
good.
you that already.
No.
All right, 7540.03, student technology, acceptable use and safety. Okay. Just going. All right, 7540.04, staff technology and acceptable use and safety.
And I'm assuming that when it mentions like E-rate supported technology, since that's a federal program, that we participate in it because it's not crossed off? Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I made that assumption. Okay, thank you.
Also a good question. All right, 7540.07, district-issued student email account. Anything there? All right. Volunteers, policy 8120. Okay. policy 8125, consultants, and this one's a new one. Anything there? Okay. 8395, student mental health services. This one we just reviewed in January.
Yeah, and it expands it to physical health too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep,
which is good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was good.
mhm,
Good choice.
yep, agreed. Okay. 8531, free and reduced price meals. Also reviewed in January. Okay,
Has that ever happened, Aaron, where we have just in one school, but not the other schools?
Free and reduce?
Well, I mean, it just talks about it.
like the added
Yeah, you can,
language here.
there's that flexibility, I guess.
Yeah, where was that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not that I'm.
Mhm. All right, so the next one,
Good question.
transportation, 8600, also reviewed just in January. Oh, and that's the end of that packet.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the next one's, the Edgar policies. Why are they called Edgar
It
policies?
stands for something.
Okay.
What does it stand for?
Could it be educational,
Government
something?
Grant.
regulation.
G's gotta be Grant.
You told me when we met.
I know I did. I just didn't, why, the education, the
That
education,
sounds fancy enough.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you what it
Yeah.
actually
That's,
stands for.
here we go.
Education Department General Admissions Regulations. Of
Okay.
course, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
that
that
makes.
sounds
How did
right
that
up
slip
our
my
alley.
mind?
So
But
these are
it's,
the ones.
it's from the US Department of Education.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. And this one was last revised quite a long time ago, so,
Yeah.
anything here? It's a long one. I'm trying to,
Which one you at, 6325?
6110,
Oh,
yep,
federal funds.
6110.
It seems straightforward as far as grant work goes.
Mhm.
And you'll
Yeah.
find really all of these Edgar changes are, it's just
Technical.
federal regulations
Mhm.
change, so you have to update your policy. You don't really have much discretion.
Yeah,
There really are no choices.
yep, okay. Yeah,
Whereas
that's
with
true.
Are
Other
they
policies, we
just-
have choices.
Are they from the recent administration already?
No, this predates.
I was gonna say, so I don't think we,
Yeah.
we'll just be back again here.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so I think then we're on to 6325, procurement, federal
Yeah.
grants and funds.
I found that interesting. We have to follow the Constitution on this one. I thought that
Mhm,
was,
that was an interesting,
and that's why I was asking
I
that
highlighted
question,
that
the
too.
previous question.
there's also a lot of, like the definitions of the purchases and the purchase level,
Yeah.
and trying to follow that information through was very interesting. It really makes me appreciative of the folks who apply to the grants and then track the information needed. Okay. Scrolling through.
Mhm.
All right, 7310, disposition of personal property. This one is, I thought was really interesting. That that school districts can, making sure I interpreted this correctly, but unused supplies
Mhm.
funded by the grants get to be kept by the school district?
Mhm.
Like inevitably you'll order a ream of paper or something like that, and you just don't use it all or whatever.
Right, but I mean, exceeding $10,000.
Yeah.
Like, that was, that's great, because it's a grant, you've earned the money, and, so, yeah, it was, I appreciated it. All right, 7450, special update to property inventory. Nothing there, sounds like. Okay, so that brings us to our last one. 8510, wellness policy.
My question was, who that's not Edgar then? It's not a federal?
No, this is, no, through the Department of Public Instruction. They
Okay,
do a
state.
Food service audit, and these, our policy needed to be updated to reflect best practices. So they were actually ahead of our policy development cycle, and that was one of their recommendations, was to update. They review our policy as part of their audit, and they recommended changes. So
Boy,
we went through and
They-
were able to update that.
they whittled it down. It was just like.
They really
very
do.
little stuff.
So, quick question, on page 3, letter H, it was scratched that students are provided at least X number of minutes for breakfast and at least X number of minutes for lunch. Why was that section removed?
Thank you, because that was the one I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Because I go like, there's no minimum? I mean, it's just like, I thought that was
So
interesting.
one of the reasons is so that the high school, middle school, the other schools can adjust time
Okay,
or shorten schedules, and it's not something that has to be mandated.
okay, okay,
Flexibility
Yeah,
issue.
It gives you that flexibility.
okay. That's kind of where I thought it was gonna go, but I just wasn't sure.
And it's interesting, there's a lot of, it seemed like in a lot of the goal choices, that they were really similar goals, but worded slightly differently, you know? So that was really interesting. My question was this, so I think it was a little confusing, so is this a new policy?
It's a revised policy.
Okay, because it didn't have any dates on it about when we last.
Yeah, so there were so many changes that we just took an updated template as opposed to
okay.
taking our existing policy
Got it.
and revising it. So yes, technically it's a revised policy, but there were so many changes
Yeah.
that, what had happened, so we get these batches of Neola policies to be updated, and this was in our queue for the next round of updates. When they do those updates, part of the service is they take our existing policy and they merge it with the update, right? There wasn't time for that, because we wanted to be responsive to the DPI audit.
Yeah, okay.
So what our food service team did was had both the updated policy and our existing policy and compared the two to make those decisions. So
Okay,
it reflects our current practice with
Okay.
updated language. Great question.
okay, thank you. And then they also reference the wellness committee in here. Who, has that been established and who makes
It
up
has
that?
not, so
Okay,
that's something where we have not had before, and so that was one of the areas for exploration. If we did, I think we may have years ago, pre my,
Yeah.
my role in the chair, so
okay,
Jeff said yes.
Along with that wellness committee piece, as you go down, they have committee representatives.
Students.
I just thought it was interesting that school nurse wasn't included.
I saw that too.
I don't know the reason behind that, but I think especially with the conversation earlier about even our increase in blood sugar visits related to the year, and needs of students and eating gluten-free and other things, like, I think that might be an addition that might be worth consideration.
Yeah, and I think what we try to do is to have those, in terms of the policy, those are the people that would be there for all of the meetings versus sort of like consulting
Okay,
as needed.
got it.
But, you know, certainly it is something we could consider adding if the board felt it was necessary. I mean, it does say collaborators may include, so.
I think if we could add may include, and then as we get to that part of forming, maybe kind of what you mentioned of making sure it's
like health?
We
Go ahead.
consult them as needed.
Yeah, it does say may. I could put health services team member,
Yeah.
something like that.
That's a good
just to
idea.
Yeah, I
be
like that.
A little
Mhm.
more broad,
Broad, yeah,
but it wouldn't have to be the
yeah.
nurse necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
If others
Sounds
are
good.
okay with that.
yep.
Good.
There was one part. Trying to remember which part it was. Oh, I thought it was really interesting, that they get down to the, marketing and like the snacks
Yeah.
that we can sell outside the lunchroom and whether they're on the smart snacks list. And then even down to the club level of like, if they're having a bake sale, you know, like they're allowed 2 per club per year because those would not be, like they're allowed to sell things that are not on the smart snack list. And if they went beyond 2, then they'd have to sell only things from the smart snacks list. It's very comprehensive.
Right,
For folks
and you can
listening.
see the scenario, right, is your school nutrition department's preparing healthy meals that meet the guidelines, and then your club swoops in and said, we can make a lot of money by
Yeah.
throwing a bunch of unnutritious food at kids and selling it to them
Yeah.
separately.
Right. And I do appreciate that there's also flexibility in there for like classroom celebrations for birthdays or, you know. So, okay. Anything else on that one?
I thought there was one more, but now I can't find it, so never mind.
I will make that change.
Thank you.
There was one part that I just wanted to go on record to say, I think in the first part of it was like 60 minutes of physical activity each day for each student. And while we couldn't realistically choose that, it would be really great if we could.
Wouldn't it?
I just know that it's not possible with all the other expectations we have for education now. Okay,
Okay, I think I found it. Sorry.
excellent. Let's hear it.
Very top, I kept scrolling past it, very top of page 4.
Okay.
When we strike through, menus shall be posted on the district website and will include nutrient content, I'm making an assumption that if asked, we could still provide
Yes,
that
Mhm.
information.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
I figured that was.
great question.
Do we still have the app that does that?
Yes.
Okay,
Was it
And our
nutrition?
nurses have access to all of the different students in the district that need certain dietary needs. And if we have any changes on a given day, we're able to let them know that something's changed in the menu due to a delivery situation. So very involved process between school nutrition, our nurses, and our students as well, and families.
okay. Great, thank you. Okay, any other discussion about those? Okay, then I think we technically need a vote on that.
Mhm.
So, all in favor of action on this first readings?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, last but not least, we are going into closed section. So I would entertain a motion for closed session under Wisconsin State Statute 19.851E, to discuss a possible real estate transaction.
So moved.
Okay, Howry, oops.
I can second that.
Okay, Fisher. And we'll go into do we need to do the roll call first, right? Okay, so roll call vote, Howry,
Yes.
all right, Chapman,
Yes.
Huey,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yep.
Fessler, yes. Okay, so we are going into closed session at 7:51.
And so the public is aware we will be adjourning in closed session.
Yes, so we will not be coming back to open session.
Sorry.
All right, are we staying here?
Please file out.
No, you were
No,
not.
Okay,
we
great.
know it is.